Hello, guys, and welcome back to the channel Vintage Sports Card Finds. My name is Paul. Thanks again for joining us. Um, Doing something a little bit different today. In honor of the football playoffs starting this weekend, and with it being January, I thought about doing something that I might do every January, which is kind of assess where the collection is at and basically come up with a top 10 cards in my collection. I've watched videos like those done on YouTube, and I enjoy them. And what we're going to do today is we're going to do the top 10 football cards in my collection. And there will be some honorable mentions. But again, these aren't necessarily the most expensive cards in my collection, but they're the ones that, when I think of my particular collection, what it is that they got going on. So let's hit some of the honorable mentions, because some of these needed to be brought to the forefront. If you watched my video the other day on my 69 top set, you saw this card. It's a Larry Zonka rookie, 1969 tops. That's pretty good condition, very strong. All right. And no vintage sort of collection would be complete without some of the guys I'm going to bringing up next. We got here the late Franco Harris, who recently passed away. The Immaculate Reception. This is his rookie card from 73. This one's pretty strong condition as well. No vintage collection would be complete without this guy. I want to say this is 1959 Johnny Unitas. It's very, very strong condition. I got this as part of an eBay lot, and I couldn't believe how nice the condition was on this card. That's an honorable mention on that Unitas. I mean, right, growing up, you think about it and you sit there and you think about, what players you hope to get one day. And it's cards like that. Same year, Y.A. Tittle. I mean, this is just throwback to the glory days of just after leather helmets. I mean, really. Just great stuff. And this card is just a stunner for being 62, 63 years old. Beautiful. That's him with the 49ers. Of course, the greatest defensive player in NFL history. Certainly the most impactful, Lawrence Taylor. Bill Belichick says, single greatest defensive player he ever coached. The Lawrence Taylor rookie right here. Nice condition. They have a little wrinkle up at the top right-hand corner, but overall, nice condition on that card. Then some graded cards that also made the honorable mention list. Let me pull this back out here. Maybe get a better view of this card. This is a Fran Tarkenton, 1969. In a VG Excellent 4. Just, I thought, a sharp looking card. And I have the card raw in my set as well, but, if you can pick up a graded card like this of a Hall of Famer, you got to do it. Another guy who's pretty much legend. It's a Bart Starr, 1971. I have some older Bart Starrs, but I figured I'd throw in a graded example. So this one is from 1971 in a VG Excellent 4. Right? So this guy's just an absolute legend of the game. And led the Packers to numerous NFL championships. And then, of course, 2 Super Bowl wins at the end of the run with Vince Lombardi. Beautiful card. And, of course, presents real well for a 4. Actually, pretty well scented for a 4. But just a nice looking card. There's obviously some tipped corners are the issues with this card, but nice looking card. And just a huge nostalgia factor, And then this is the last honorable mention. This is Steve Young. Excellent to mint 6 rookie. This is the Topps NFL rookie of Steve Young. Now, obviously, if you're looking for Steve Young's rookie, in my opinion, you really have to be looking for the USFL card, right? Him, Reggie White, Jim Kelly, and Herschel Walker. Those 4 particular players have to be at the forefront of, who you're looking for. If you're looking for their rookies, you really need to be looking for the Topps 1964 USFL set. So that takes care of our honorable mentions, which brings us to my top 10. Really, it's only because this is the way I see it. It has nothing to do with price. It has nothing to do with any of that. Obviously, value is some factor, but it's not the end-all, be-all on this list. So, number 10, and the holder has some issues, but you can see there's spots on the holder there. But number 10 is a 1984 Dan Marino rookie from Topps. Card number 123. And pay no attention to these. I just reuse holders all the time, so that's why this holder has this damage on it. But the card itself is in good shape. Grossly off center, so I knew it was real. Because 1984 Topps is infamous for being horribly off center. So that's number 10. Number 9, Earl Campbell rookie. Excellent to mint 6. It's a 1979 Topps Earl Campbell rookie. This is kind of like I liken his career sort of like Gale Sayers, where he comes in, just dominates, and then leaves the game way too early. So there's been a lot of that in terms of running backs. Jim Brown, Earl Campbell, Gale Sayers, who, is a Hall of Famer in a 6-year career. Barry Sanders, who played something like 8 or 9 years, but could have played another 5 or 6 if he was so inclined. So that's number 9, Earl Campbell. Number 8, also a running back. And this one is a 1978 Tony Dorset, rookie. Card number 315 in the set. I have a couple of Dorset rookies. I have 278 sets that are both complete. So I'm showing you the better example. The other one is not in really all that good a shape. The other one's probably like VG at best. It's got some corner damage and whatnot, but this one is pretty sharp. Got this one in an eBay lot for a great price. So the beauty of eBay is if you're patient, you will find some good deals. I watched a video today, someone talking about buying cards on margin. Don't do that. That's a bad way to invest all the time. In other words, don't borrow money to buy cards. This is a recipe for disaster. Just like it was in the 20s when people were buying stocks on margin. And then when they had the runs on the bank, people were jumping off of buildings. Don't do that. You want to buy you want to buy a sports card on the credit card. That's fine, but not to the tune of $10,000 or something like that. I mean, unless you've got $10,000, right? You just want to be careful with buying cards on margin, and certainly buying packs on margins. So that was number 10, 9, 8. Number 7, John Elway, 1984 John Elway rookie. This is even more grossly off-center than the Marino. I do have a graded version of this card that's in a 6. But in my infinite wisdom, when I first got that card, I decided to tape it to the box that it went with in the set. And I didn't even really need to do that. It could have fit in that box easily without damaging any of the other cards. We'll call that a rookie mistake when it comes to graded cards. So basically, I need some Goo Gone to get rid of the residue of the tape on the front of the holder. So I figured I would just show you this one instead. This one's part of my second 1984 top set, and this one's in good shape except for the centering, which pretty much means it's legit as well. It's number 7. Number 6, a 1977 Steve Largent rookie card. This is the guy, right? Before Jerry Rice, Steve Largent retired with all of or most of the NFL receiving records. Played in Seattle, so nobody really knew who he was. No, not just kidding. Everybody knew who he was, but Steve Largent didn't get the pub that he should have because he was out in Seattle on the West Coast. Seattle wasn't very good at the time. They had a couple of years when he was there, him and Dave Craig, and then Jim Zorn, and then Dave. Dave Craig? That doesn't sound right. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up. I don't know if Dave Craig was out in Arizona. Nah, I'll have to look that one up. That's my fault. But beautiful example of this rookie card, Steve Largent. And that's number I've lost track of the numbers. But that's the next guy on the list. Let's see. All right, so we're down to number 5. Number 5, 1975, Dan Fouts rookie card. Air Coryell. We think of today of the NFL as a passing league, right? I mean, this is a card I could get graded. Look at the centering on this card. Very strong, both top to bottom and left to right. Just not any real issues with the corners. So this is a card that I guess I'm going to have to at some point get graded because I think this one could do pretty well. Dan Fouts, we think of today the NFL as a passing league. Started with this guy and Coryell and, Jefferson and Charlie Joyner and that group just basically threw the ball like very few teams had thrown the ball back in the 70s and into the early 80s. And just basically what we think of today as the modern NFL, they were doing it in the 70s and 80s when pretty much the NFL was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. So this is the Dan Fouts rookie card. And I think a pretty nice example of one. So right now he sits in number 5 in my NFL/football card collection. This guy, famous, infamous, whatever. O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson, number 4. Just because this was a card I always wanted to get as a kid. And this is a really nice example of it. He is a Hall of Famer. He's also known for a double homicide, then being acquitted of a double homicide. He was probably one of the most famous athletes coming out of college, Heisman Trophy winner. Had everything going for him. He was a media darling. He was on TV even after he retired. He was in movies. He was in commercials. He was in what a lot of people would say that O.J. Simpson had transcended, for whatever that means, right? That, a black athlete who had really just, especially in that time frame, to basically become a Wall Street darling, someone who everybody could make money on, and he was making a lot of money. And he was just beloved, really. And then, of course, out of nowhere, it turns out he had it shouldn't say out of nowhere. He had a very dark past. He was a violent person. And then, we can discuss the issues associated with that trial, but it is what it is. O.J. Simpson, Hall of Famer and infamous. This is his rookie card. So we'll move on from that. Which brings us to the top 3. Number 3, Jerry Rice rookie card in an excellent to mint 6. So this is a card I would like to get upgraded, get a better grade on this card, but it's here. It's part of a complete set, and right, this was kind of, for me, the grail as a kid. You want a Jerry Rice rookie. And mind you, these cards were pulled out of packs. So on Jerry Rice, I pulled out of packs. So when I was pulling Jerry Rice's rookie cards, I wasn't thinking, boy, this is going to be amazing. Or that he was going to have as lengthy a career as he did, but he did. And then he broke all of Steve Largent's records because he was truly the consummate professional, Jerry Rice. Beautiful card, nice condition. I thought pretty well centered. There's an issue, obviously, top to bottom, but overall, and a little bit more on the right showing than on the left, but a nice card. It does have a corner issue. So, Jerry Rice, number 3. Number 2, the GOAT. Let me see. Well, let me see if I can take it out of this thing. I didn't really kind of think it through. Well, yeah, let me get it out of this because this doesn't really do it justice. Sorry about that. So there we go. This is a Joe Montana rookie. I have another one that I'm going to send off to be graded and hope to get a better grade on it. This is not a bad one, though. A 6. It's got an issue there from factory. Print defect. Card number 216 from PSA. And obviously, you know, I don't have to go into a long spiel about Joe Montana. Joe Montana is great. The only thing I ever saw Joe Montana do poorly was back in the 90s after he had retired. They decided to try to put Joe Montana as a color commentator, and he was horrific at it. Just dead air all over the place. It was the only thing Joe Montana ever did that was bad, that I know of. Just a really nice example of a Montana rookie. So there you go. That's number 2. And that brings us to number 1. Number 1, this card, for me, just card I always wanted to have. Never thought I'd get it. It's not a great grade, but it is, to me, one of the biggest football cards that I think you can own. I mean, short of like these crazy modern things like, you know, a Tom Brady auto numbered to whatever. This card is a base card, and as far as base cards go, this is it. A 1976 Walter Payton rookie. I watched Sweetness play in his career. This one is graded an SGC 4, VG excellent. It's got an issue. I don't know if you can see it. I'm trying to angle it there so you can sort of see it. It's got a crease right there. I did not see it. I picked this one up on eBay. I got it for a good price, but in a VG Excellent 4, this is just a card I had to own. And I think I picked this up, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but it was during the pandemic, and I still got it for a reasonable price. It's Walter Payton, man. This guy was just amazing. Amazing. And what makes him that much more amazing is that he did what he did without really an offensive line to speak of. It's just unbelievable. He held the NFL rushing record for 20 some odd years until Emmitt Smith played enough seasons where he broke Walter Payton's record. But, you know, he'll be number 2 for a long time because I don't see any running backs in today's modern game who are going to amass the amount of yardage that Payton, or for that matter, Emmitt Smith, amassed. because A, they don't play long enough, and B, there's just not enough guys getting the touches that these guys used to get. I mean, right? Walter Payton used to get 20 to 30 touches per game. We think of the Earl Campbells and those types of players. That's what they were getting. 20 to 30 touches a game as a running back, and that just doesn't happen anymore. With very few exceptions. Derrick Henry may fall into that category. But not only does Derrick Henry get the touches, but he also makes use of them. But now he's got to stay healthy. Is he going to be able to stay healthy long enough to accumulate the amount of yardage that Walter Payton or an Emmitt Smith had? Very, very difficult. I mean, we just saw Frank Gore retire with like crazy yards from scrimmage numbers. But Walter Payton had to have this card, loved this card, and even though it's got the crease there, it is my number one because it's Walter Payton's rookie card, and I think it's one of the elite cards to have if you're a football collector. All right, that's the list. Let me know what you think. Should I jump this guy or that guy? There was someone in my honorable mention that should have been in the top 10 list? Does OJ still belong in the list? You tell me what you think. I want to thank you. This is a little bit longer video, but I really love these videos, watching them myself when other people do them. And it was just a lot of fun trying to think of which cards I really wanted to showcase in this video. I want to thank you guys as always for watching. If you enjoy the content, please comment, share, like, subscribe. It really helps me out, helps out the channel. I want to thank you for your support, and I'm hoping to build on this top 10 in 2023, so that when we do this video in 2024, God willing, I can throw some new cards into the mix as well. Thanks again, guys, for watching. I appreciate you. And as always, happy hunting. Thanks.